What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Welcome, everybody. Well, it is a special edition of The Awakening World and a collaboration with one of my favorite people on the planet. You all get to meet Divine Kika. And there she is, gorgeous, fun. And what we're doing tonight is going to be kind of unique. It's a kind of a last minute thing. For the first hour or so, it's going to be kind of a Scott style hosted Zoom webinar. And then we're shifting into Tantra Lounge, which is Divine Kika's TV show. So welcome, and I really appreciate those of you who jumped in since we just only decided to do this, 2 days ago, I think. So welcome to all of my friends. I see a lot of familiar names and faces, Robin and Scotty and Stacy, Lorna, Karen. Hey, let us know where you're from geographically and any questions you have about Tantra, sacred sexuality, dating, or romance. And I'm going to put the full spotlight on Kika, Divine Kika, actually. Hey, my friend, tell us about kind of what it means to be Divine Kika and what we're going to be experiencing tonight in the Tantra Lounge. Oh, you're muted, hon. You're muted.
What it means to be Divine Kika, I never got asked that specific question before.
Well, let's start right there.
So first, if I play a little song in my phone here, can you guys hear it there? If I play here?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah? So let's start. Can you guys hear it?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. I put the phone beside the microphone. So I like this idea of welcoming love, welcoming serenity, this self-activation, this new wave. So I like that this song says, I welcome love, harmony, and joy. So I kind of want to start wherever you are, whatever you're feeling now. I just invite you to just smile in your heart, smile in your body, and command yourself to relax. Command yourself to let go of your day, to let go of whatever went through earlier today, and dive into this moment for you. So maybe this is what means Divine Kika, is to be able to enter in the state and to command your state, how you want to feel, to be able to feel the way you want. So let's take a deep breath together. The highest frequency is love. So I like to start in that note. My name is Divine Kika. I am a Tantra master. I'm a relationship coach. I am an NLP coach and practitioner. So for those of you that know about Tony Robbins and neurolinguistic programming in the last 2 years, I have done more than 4 trainings. 2 of those I did 3 times each, to really get what is neurolinguistic programming. And like my Australians say, it changed my life. Changed my life. And I have a beautiful community in Australia and here in California. And like I learned a different way to use Tantra and other tools of compassionate communication that I learned with Scott a long time ago. And to embed in the NLP, neuro linguistic programming, so you can live a life of power, freedom, and love, and create relationships that actually last and are fulfilling. You want only the ones that are fulfilling to last, right?
Right.
Otherwise, we enter into this whole other world. So 11 million bits of information a second, right? Enters your brain. Your brain is so used to delete, generalize, and distort information. So all that information that comes in is filtered by the stories that you have in your past, the stories that you have about yourself, about others, about the world. Your perception has these filters, right? Otherwise, we would be crazy looking at all this amazing information all the time. But what if we could delete delete the programs that you have in your mind that are actually holding you from seeing the possibilities for you, to see a new life that you could have, to see this new amazing relationship that you could have, to feel in a different way. Perception is progression, is perception is projection. So when you perceive life from a different way, you start to project a different energy in the world, and you start to magnetize different things. And that's a lot of what I would like to share with you. There is a whole new me, Scott, that Scott is getting to know. Scott knows the old Kika that only knew Tantra and did all this stuff, but now there is the new stuff coming. And
Beautiful.
I want you to tonight to open your mind, open your awareness to something that maybe you don't know about yourself, something that could change for you. That sometimes, oh yeah, I heard that before, but that is a little trick, a little light. And if you get one of those, ha, tonight I'll be very happy. And I'm sure between me and Scott, we will create, and manifest a lot of little ahas, and maybe one big aha for you.
Let's do it. I always like to acknowledge people watching. We have a lot of our friends that are regulars in the Zoom room, but I also want to acknowledge all the people that are watching on Unify. And we've got people from Kazakhstan, Arkansas, San Francisco, Victoria, British Columbia, Dixon, Illinois, Las Vegas, Southern Missouri, just welcome to the about 40 people watching on Unify, and all of my friends watching on our Zoom room, and Scotty Satori from Maui.
Can you tag me on the Facebook so my friends on Facebook can see me too?
I'll do that in a moment. Absolutely. So, Kika, and by the way, it's a pretty sophisticated audience. Most of the people, especially in the Zoom, are people that have been coming to my shows. We've done a lot of relationship shows, so we can go to more of the advanced work, just so you know.
Yes, awesome. These are my peeps.
So tell us, so first question for you, or next one actually, after what does it mean to be Divine Kika? I want to acknowledge our friends that are single, because a lot of our friends are single right now. And especially it's been,
Right now?
well, there you go. And so am I. We're both single. But what do you say to people that have been single for a while? Maybe they're wondering if they're ever going to be in a relationship again. It's been pandemic. It's been hard times. You have got such a natural enthusiasm for life. What are your suggestions for people that are maybe feeling a little more contracted, a little more insecure, a little bit more afraid of being out in the world and wondering if they'll ever have a relationship again?
There's so many of us these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Transforming. There are so many reasons to be afraid, to close down, to allow our old programming of fear to take over, and everything that we are ingesting, digesting, and projecting, a lot of it is not helping us to feel better. And so, for you that is feeling in this space alone, I also invite you to remember that it's different times in your life that you felt alone, right?
Yeah.
This is not the only time you felt alone. Maybe you felt alone before you went through relationship and then you got alone again. That some of you can relate, right in the chat. Like, because we have been in more than one relationship in our lives.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we go to periods. So I invite you to think of this way. The life is a cycle, like it's a circle. And sometimes we're down here when it comes to relationships, sexuality, right? We're down here feeling low, feeling lonely, feeling empty. And then we start to go up again. And then we level up and then we get in relationship. And then maybe we get into a good relationship, but then the relationship starts to go, not so good. Da, da, da. The relationship ends. Who has been to that cycle of relationships over and over again?
We all have. We all have.
Yeah, so that is this thing that like we keep going up and down. So the thing to remember when we are here in the bottom is to remember that no matter what, we're going up again, because that's the flow of life. So you're not there forever. And the lowest you go, the highest you shoot up. Right? So we're all about to shoot up really high. And I can relate to have hard times. Come on, I had COVID 3 times. Hello? Like, I almost died the first time.
Wow.
I almost died. Like, literally, I said goodbye to my kids. So, yeah, talking about going to the lows, I've been through the lows, and then relationship ending, and so much going on, right? But then this memory of the ups and downs of life, and knowing that that's when we need to have a relationship that is beyond just ourselves and our small world, that is a trusting of something higher than ourselves, that we are never alone. We're only alone when we want to be alone, because the spirit, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, is always there with you. And when we enhance that relationship and we find the joy of that relationship, and hey, I spend most of my time alone.
Yeah.
I'm alone in the house. And my house, can I share with you something? My son went to college. Like, it's been 6 months, a year. I lost a relationship, right? And I live in this big house, and all of a sudden the house started to feel really big. And there's an echo. And then I'm like, okay. And then there was a journey of talking to spirit and reconnect to my spiritual practice, reconnect to my everyday journey of whatever it is. Sometimes it's dancing, sometimes it's meditation, sometimes it's single, something that I can allow myself to do, something that feels good, so I can put good brain chemicals on my brain, and then it brings me back. So, because the thing is, yes, we need to feel our sadness. We need to feel our longing. But if you feel it too long, you imprint it deeper in your psyche, and that trauma gets bigger.
Yep.
And now you have a bigger problem. So you need to be able to command yourself to say, okay, how long do you want to suffer? I ask my clients all of that, and they get all discombobulated. Like, how long do you want to suffer? So, okay, I'm going to suffer. And then, like, sometimes we have deals. You're going to suffer 20 minutes every day. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's true.
I want to riff on a couple of things you talked about, and I've sent you the link. You've got to go into your own page in order to do it. So I'm gonna put the spotlight on myself for a moment, because I want to riff on a couple of things Kika said, and then give her a chance to share this out to her friends. It's really important for all of us to have some form of a practice or different practices. And that could be playing a musical instrument. It might be doing martial arts. It might be doing yoga. It might be doing dance. But during hard times, I've learned that the people like Kika who have a practice doesn't make the hard stuff go away, but we don't obsess on it. We learn how to take a little bit of time to mourn, take some time to deal with anything we can do to make things better. But then instead of obsessing and looping over and over and over about whatever it is we're missing in our life, whatever it is that's not there, do the practice, do the dancing, do the yoga, go to the gym, go to play your musical instrument. A good friend of mine right now owns a company that has 300 employees in the country of Ukraine. And of course, they've been preparing for the possibility of a Russian invasion for the past 2 months, knowing it might happen, hoping it wouldn't, and sadly it has. And he, during the day, has done everything he can to, start offices in Romania and get ready to move people. But then late at night, when there's nothing else he can do, instead of obsessing, he plays his guitar. He plays his guitar. And it's really helped him, because otherwise he'd be making himself crazy, worrying about how he's going to manage 300 people that he cares about if there's a Russian invasion, which ended up happening. And so that's just a recent example. And he's one of my best friends. I'm his cousin.
Woo! I'm sorry. We are live on Jazz TV, Jazz FM, and Facebook too now.
All right, great. And so for those of you just joining, I am Love Coach Scott Catamas. I'm with my dear friend, the Divine Kika, and we're kind of combining. We are combining my friends, our friends on Unify, people coming into Zoom, and
Yeah, so this is Tantra Lounge. I am Divine Kika, your producer and host. Today we have Scott Catamas as a special guest, and he brought his tribe with us. He brought his tribe with him, and we're all together in this beautiful journey into your soul tonight to awake you to a new you, to help you to understand the pitfalls that you do, the things that make you do not feel good, and how you can change that. And not just brush it off and pretend it's not there, actually feel it and let it go with grace. So that's the team, and like how we manage our crazy brains in this world when we fall in love, when we fall out of love, and how can we enjoy our alone time? How can we become better every day? And I'm here to help you to level up, to get to your level 10, and to discover the seeds of greatness that is planted within you. That's what I learned with my friend Sean. That is a seed of greatness within each one of us. And your job is to awaken it and to water it and to nourish it. And today we're going to talk about all these things. So welcome to Tantra Lounge, or wherever you are. If you are on Facebook, please share with your groups. If you love this work, if you think this can help a friend, go ahead, message it to your friend, share with the groups of the people you care about, because this is going to have jewels that will change your life. Thank you for being here with us today. So you're asking me a question. Come on.
Well, first off, I just want to invite all of our friends, let them know that you are all welcome to ask questions. I'll be checking on Unify, I'll be checking Love Coach Academy, Facebook pages, and of course checking in the Zoom room. So ask us questions, and those of you in the Zoom room, if you want to come on camera, we can even bring you on camera. But chat with me first about that. And for anybody who's watching on YouTube or Facebook, come on into our Zoom room. It's really easy. I'll be posting the Zoom room link, and you can come on in. Okay, first question. Well, since we went live with Divine Kika, so what is one practice that you recommend for people to help them to open their hearts when they're feeling contracted or down? What's a practice for opening their heart?
First, I want to say that I don't brush my feelings off, and I'm not the yoga girl pretending that I'm happy all the time. I'm not that type at all. I feel everything, and I let it pass through me. But sometimes I command something greater, yeah? And to command something greater, like every time before I do the show, I have my little ritual. What is my little ritual? I do my hair, I take a nice shower, and believe it or not, I put perfume on because I feel good. I like to smell good. I like to feel good. And my friends sometimes come here and they go, why'd you put perfume? You're gonna go on camera. I love to smell good. It makes me feel good. So it's giving attention, for me, it's giving attention to those little things that make you feel good, that we kind of deny ourselves of.
Hmm.
We tend to brush it off and take care of other people, take care, especially moms. I'm a mom. We're always taking care of everything and everyone, right? And like, how do we go back and take care of ourselves to the little things that we take care of ourselves? So my practice is dancing is something that brings me joy. Yoga brings me joy. Mantras always work for me. But I don't have like one thing that I go to, Scott. I have several things that I do, and sometimes I have to do it all. sometimes, when the situation is too chaotic, you have to do more than one thing to pick yourself up. And that's what I do. But what I invite you to think about right now, and perhaps write it down or think about a few things that make you feel good. Little rituals, like the shower is a ritual of mine. When I feel overwhelmed, it's a simple thing. It's not like I'm a yogi. I've been in India, all this stuff, and I can do pretty high pujas and ceremonies and things like that. But sometimes the simple things that you do to get you off of your thinking when you're looping and break the pattern, right? And have that intervention. Let's take a deep breath together. So what are the things that you're doing that make you feel bad? Let's think about that. What are the things, like the thoughts that you have running every day? I'm working with a coach right now, and he said he gave me a homework that I love. Because even though I have done so much work, my last relationship was a little bit harder on me because I was so in love and I had to let go, and the whole bit, right? Like, so I had to go and get a coach to level up again. Because I can't see my blind spots sometimes. Even though I'm a coach, sometimes we need a coach. And especially for those of us that have done a lot of work on ourselves, there's a lot of ego sometimes to say, oh, I have done a lot of work, but you know what? New stuff happened. And we are a little bit traumatized as COVID has happened and the world is changing so rapidly. And there is so much going on for all of us that we need to be a little more kind to ourselves. So he said something for me to do is just, what are the little things that set you off every day, and write about it every single day. So I've been doing that. And it's been interesting to just realize that this little bits, little things, then you start to realize the people you talk to that you shouldn't talk to as much, or the little things that you do that are setting you off. So notice, I would say, okay, do the things, the practice that make you feel good, but also be aware of the things that you can change, right? Or that you cannot, that set you off, that makes you feel a little bit less something, or that set you off, and write down how they make you feel and why. Because that process can allow you to have a deeper understanding of how you can change things. And it could be simply, for me, it's to put my phone away for a few hours a day. It really makes a difference. Little things like that. But what I would like to move on to is to Scott. And Scott had a pretty sweet conversation about our last relationships that I think it would be fun for us to talk a little bit about our healing process.
Okay.
What do you think, Scott? Like, if we share a little bit of, because we both were really deep in a relationship, and then we got out of it, and it's been a while. I don't know, for me, it's been a year that I'm single. How long has it been for you?
It's been 2.5 years. I have been single
Oh,
2.5 years. I've never been single that long in my whole life.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's been interesting.
I can't see you, Scott. Oh, there, I see you now. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've got it on gallery view, so it's both of us right now. I had
Okay.
it primarily on you. Um, so, yeah, I have kind of made it the choice. Like, I have intentionally not been actively dating. I've been really focused on doing the Awakening World every weekend and doing my online shows, coaching a lot of people. And I definitely look forward to my next relationship. I look forward to having a great relationship. But also, I'm kind of spoiled, to be honest, you know? Um,
Tell me more.
so it's got to be really in divine flow. It's got to be a relationship where there is just a natural harmony, a natural ease, and there's a lot of qualities that I'm looking for. And when the time is right, I trust it'll happen. How about you? Tell me a little bit more about your process.
So I went through a really deep dive on my soul and my actually repurposing my life and realigning. I was really thinking about going back to Brazil for a long time, and I kind of gave up that idea for now, but I have a plan for later, right, to go. And then how I'm integrating more of my life in Brazil and here, so I can be here for my son now. And I'm really focused on the work I'm doing now because I feel the seriousness and the need to show up.
Yeah.
There is a command that is beyond me, that is this, to show up and do the work that we're doing. And I'm imagining that you feel the same. That is like, that's the highest call right now, to show up and be here with you guys and to support as much as I can, because there's something really, may I share something really emotional? Like,
Yeah,
I had
please.
actually shared this. I don't think I shared this in camera at all. I share it with very close friends, but I got teared up a little bit. So I had COVID when in 2020, when that was the very beginning, and I was terrified. I had that fear of I thought that I was gonna die. I started to see spirits on my bed. I was, forgive my French, I was pooping my pants. I couldn't breathe. My God, that was horrible. It was just horrible. And I couldn't believe, because it caught me by surprise, right? So here is my kids taking care of me, my boyfriend's taking care of me, and I was ready to go. And when I saw those spirits, we made a deal.
Wow.
Because they were asking me to go. They told me a lot of people would pass, and they wanted me to support those souls in their passage. And since it's a high spiritual group, I can share this stuff, because I haven't shared it because I didn't feel like there's only so many people can understand what I'm saying. And so I said, no, I want to do the work here, and I'm committing to what I came here to do. And the next day, I started to feel better.
Thank you so much for sharing that story, Kika. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to share because it's
Yeah, that's beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad you're still with us because I adore you. And the world does need you. And you know, I do believe this time that we're now in, this chapter, it's going to be very hard for a lot of people in many ways, but the world is giving birth. That's why I'm calling my shows The Awakening World, because it's time for humanity to awaken and for each of us to really play our role, our unique role in planetary transformation. And Kika, I've always known you have a big role to play. And I want to acknowledge everybody who's listening has a
no,
role to play. Everybody.
we all do.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. You know, I think that's, again, kind of for me, when COVID hit, so many people I know hit hard times. And that's why I realized I really needed to do these online shows to provide support for people that were alone. I mean, people's churches shut down. So all the places they could go, conferences, festivals, events, even clubs, bars, restaurants, churches, all closed down. And people had to get their support, their community online. So that's what I've been kind of committed to helping people to have. And then also supporting my clients. And so many of my clients have gone through really hard times during this period. So that's really where my attention's been going.
That is beautiful things happening. There's a lot of people awakening. Spirit is more available than ever. And we are all feeling this little energies and glimpses of it, right? And if you are home now and you feel completely discombobulated and confused and you don't know what's next in your life, let me tell you the good news. Woo, baby! We are ready for something so amazing. You have no idea what it is. And that's okay, because you're being in kind of like this thing shaking you up. Everything that is not you is like, raw, you go, fuck, like, But then like there's this, there's all this beautiful new energies coming and merging. So allow yourself to go through the shake. Allow yourself to not know. It's okay. If you don't know what's next, if you're scared, if you're confused right now, see it as a blessing, because only in that place is where you grow. And I'm going to explain to you why. So there is this cycle, the cycle I was talking about in the beginning, right? That we go down in life, then we go up, and then there is the, but when we want to level up, and this I learned with my friend Sean, thank you, Sean, that seed of greatness that is within you, that every one of us born with. And when you said, oh, we have a big mission, we all have a big mission. We're all in the same boat. We're all together. We're all beautiful. We're all shining. We're all in this together. Please don't put anyone in a pedestal. Nobody's better than anyone else.
That's right.
You're more than good enough. You are good enough. You're important, and you're lovable, no matter what anyone says or does. Take that in. Okay, I hope. So now when we are in the bottom and we're going to level up, when we got like 7 or 8, there's something happened, because we were like, I'm gonna go, right? But then we get here and 7 and 8 and shit starts to get hard. Things get difficult. Like you start to get tested and you go, but I want to be up here. And you go, why am I being tested? Why things are so hard right now? And that's where we're at right now. We're all through this phase where we have to level up. But you can't level up being the same you that you were before. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna stay there. You're gonna go, that guy, that girl that was trying to level up and stay the same is not gonna make it. So you have to break down and take off all these layers that are not, and embrace this new you. Allow it, and then you can go, okay, a little more. Hey, I'm a level 8 now. And then you go, okay, now I'm getting to 9. But then you're more tested. That's when things get really difficult, because the way you wear it will not work. And you don't know, your mind doesn't know, because it's all new and confusing. And you're breaking down and you're reborn every day. But when you go here and you start to get to the level 10, guess what? You level up your life, because every time you do that, you may do that with your fitness. You may do that with your nutrition. You may do that with the love for yourself. You may do that loving up your friends, or showing up at work in a different way. When you do all this leveling up, that is a accumulation of leveling up in your life, become bigger. And I'll leave it like that for now, Scott. Like that, because I have something that my prayer has been that is something, because people are saying, oh, what do you want? What are you dreaming of? And I keep thinking about the girl that left Brazil 20 years ago, and that I had no idea how beautiful my life was going to be now. Like I had no clue. I just knew that I had to do something different. And right now, that's the way I feel. I feel like my life is about to get in such a big, different way, that who I will be 5 years from now, I can't even capture the vision of what's going to be, because it's beyond me. And I'm praying that I embrace that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. I want to take a minute, Kika, to read some of the comments coming in and a question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the spotlight on myself while I do that, which will give you a chance to have a little bit of a break. So first of all, Jess is going to ask, and when I come back to you, I'll have you answer this. Jess said, "I'm interested in exploring Tantra. What's a good way to get started?" So you can think about that question. Anna Ohm, thank you. First of all, Anna is complimenting us. And she says, "Thank you for community." And she points out, we don't know what we don't know, and it's okay. And Love Arts writes, "The games lovers play, teetering on the brink of true love." It's a new book, and the author is a seasoned tantric shaman, and he's putting the link in there. So thank you very much for that. Looking forward to that. Rosalind, thank you. She's giving us a lot of appreciation. You've got some friends coming from Australia saying, "Welcome, mate." That's going back a little bit to what you said earlier. So, okay, let's get to that question that came in from Jess. What's a good starting point for Tantra?
What's the good starting point is, shall I get them to my little, I have a little Tantra for Dummies thing on my website. It's like a little introduction. But maybe I can do a little introduction here. I don't know if I should send you there, or if I should do it now.
We'll do it now here, and then we can send people there afterwards.
Okay, so it's like, what is Tantra anyway, right? That's weaving energy, commanding, relating, better sex, better love, better understanding, yoga, meditation, mathematics, higher awareness, spirituality. It's all of it. Tantra is a way like it's a path like Zen or yoga that allow you to mix sexuality and spirituality and integrate your spirituality and your sexuality in pure harmony and create a higher awareness with it all. But I'm still not explaining to you what is Tantra. Tantra is something that you feel. Tantra is something that you viscerally feel. What is that you're feeling, and your capacity for pleasure? One of the motivations that I have to do the work I do is that I believe that most people, sadly, don't know their potential for pleasure. We know our potential for pain and suffering so well, sadly, right? We all know how to be sad. We all know how to have regular sex. We all know how to break down, how to break up, how to suffer. But do you know how to feel good and how to have pleasure and how to sustain pleasure and how to have pleasure being prolonged? So these are things that I want you to think about. So how do we start to do Tantra? When you're thirsty, drink water. When you're tired, rest. Be aware of your body, of your tempo. Like some people, they tell me, oh, when I get into a project, I get so sucked into it, I don't even eat for several hours. Well, are you denying your body? Are you denying yourself? Are you actually taking care of yourself? Are you aware of what's going on in your body? Are you disassociating from what you feel and in your skin? Like, how are you making love to yourself? This is a question for if you want to begin. Did you know you can have an orgasm as long as you want? It's not a myth, it's a reality. But only some people get to experience that, because you have to break down all the guilt and shame and the programming that good girls don't do it, or if I'm spiritual, I cannot be sexual, and this whole misalignment, misunderstanding. And let's be frank, today, with all the pornography, the bad examples out there, how people have even healthy sexuality, right? Like, so begin with just feeling what is alive for you, understanding more of yourself, and breathing and making sounds and experiencing more. That's a good beginning point.
Beautiful. I'd like to come on in too with a couple thoughts, and thank you for that. So much of what she said, I really like how she's emphasizing to really love our body, to really, connect first. Before we are trying to connect to another person, let's connect to ourselves. And that's a really important thing. Tantra literally means that the English translation of the word is to weave. And so it's weaving our masculine and feminine within ourselves. It's weaving two people together when we're in relationship. Jeff Eichen, one of our regulars, wrote, how about eye gazing? Absolutely. Eye gazing is a wonderful way to start connection with another person. Here comes Kika.
You guys see me? Hi. What if we could make love with our eyes? What if I could, as you look deep into my eyes, as if you can see my soul and my sadness, my joy, my fears, all that I was, all that I will be, all that I am now, and see if you can see a part of you there, or you see yourself there, and you allow yourself to be seen. And so many of us are longing for this presence, and so many people cannot look deep into your eyes.
Yeah.
Right? So what if you can give this present more often to the people in your life, even if they can't take it?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is really a deep eye gaze can be more intimate than having sex with lights out.
Sure.
And emotional intimacy is the great aphrodisiac as we get older. In a more mature relationship, where it's not just kind of trying to get our rocks off, so to speak, we want to establish emotional intimacy, into me see, so that it's not just a sexual fantasy that we're trying to act out, but it's really dropping into the quality of who are you? Who am I? Like, wasn't it beautiful when Kika shared her vulnerability, right? Like, that is so attractive when she talks about her fear of death, that she thought she was going to die. And so when we can be vulnerable, it's a beautiful thing. And eye gazing and slowing down and dropping in with each other is a wonderful way to start a tantric relationship.
And that is so sweet, right? Like, so when we, in neurolinguistics, when you're trying to connect with somebody, Scott just brought me to his space right now. And I am like, he's like, so we are meeting in the middle, right? And this is what you need to learn to dance in relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That because if somebody is like up here and you go too slow, they're not gonna match you.
Right.
They're not gonna be with you, right? So you need to start to match them. Sometimes you have to match them up here, and then you bring them slowly where you want them to be. How tantric is that? How sexy is that? That you can actually meet that person where they are and then find a middle. And that's a deeper connection. Like, what if I can start breathing like they're breathing? And then we find the space together, and now we are dancing together in this way of just, and that can be just a conversation over the computer or over the phone. You pay attention. You pay attention. Are they a feeling person? Are they a logical person? Are they a visual person? Are they an auditive person? If I don't know, I just add all those things in the conversation.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you feel? How does it sound for you? Does it make sense? Start adding this to your connections. And that's where Tantra and NLP is starting to merge. And that's where I have different. So this is the time where you can start to share a little deeper and create more connection. Another way that you can create a deeper connection is that, let me see what I can't see Scott very well because he would come by, on my screen. Let's see if I can see you as I talk. So if Scott, yes. If I do it too obviously, he will know that I'm imitating him, and that doesn't feel good. I think I'm mocking him, right? But if I just kind of like subtly put my hair the same way he's there, and I start, and I'm saying this, but when I don't say it and we do it in a subtle way, we start to go making some of the gestures very sadly. So now we are creating a connection and we are building rapport. We are actually, if I say something to you, I'm watching how you are responding. Are you getting color in your skin? Are you getting excited? Or are you getting down? Right? Are you coming forward? Are you closing? It's like, hello, Scott. Yeah. So this subtleties in a conversation, right? Like if you are on a date, for example, this is body language. But if you're on a date and the person has their feet towards the door, do you think they're enjoying being with you? So watch if somebody's talking to you and they're coming too much as a lion, kind of, and then you can actually like just take a step back and notice, like, are they coming? Depends where you meet. So start to notice. I invite you to start to notice the subtleties when you talk to somebody to create this deeper connection. Looking in the eyes is one thing, but like actually really being present with what this person is feeling and thinking and being in this moment. And then if you want to bring them to a different state, how can you actually bring them with your energy, with your words, with your gestures, right? So
Yeah.
Scott, did you notice Scott started to agree a lot now? Like it's just like so that's how you build. It's piece like building rapport and connection. But if we use tantra and breathe with somebody and go really deep and start to connecting and then start saying the right words and connecting where they are at, rather than just trying to bring them in your space, then it's a different thing. So how are you, the question for you at home right now, how are you connecting with the people everywhere? My ex-boyfriend, he said something, we made a little video last week about going to Brazil. And he said, oh my God, in Brazil, like everybody responds to you and you talk to everybody. You have this thing that you talk to everybody and you connect to people even here. Because he felt a huge difference the way people connect in Brazil, because everybody talks to everybody, even if they're strangers. There's like people are more connected, I would say. And this is not a judgment, it's just different cultures, right? Like, and here it's like sometimes you say hello and then people are a little bit closer, but how do you, like in your everyday life, how are you allowing people to get close? And what do you decide in your head when somebody is having a bad day, has nothing to do with you? You say hi and they go like in the store, you're like hi. Like especially experience that. It's weird, right? Like
Right.
you're or sometimes somebody say hi and you're like, fuck off. Like you don't say anything, but you are like, I didn't have a good day. And you walk away. So how are you creating connection versus separation? This is something I learned from Scott. Every word, intention, thought, in and out of you is creating either connection or separation. And I put that to my heart, Scott. There's something that is so, how are you connecting? Something to think about. This is like a nice free flow, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for that. And it's okay if we want to be in our own space, but let's just be conscious about it. What am I really longing for? And most of the time, people are longing for connection, but they oftentimes, we all do it, we oftentimes make choices that create separation. We say something with a tone of judgment. You know, never do BSW. If you want to have better connections and relationships in your life, eliminate BSW. What does BSW stand for? Bad, stupid, and wrong. What does that mean? It means sometimes when we're upset, we want to prove to the person that they have done something bad, or that there's something that's stupid about them, or they did something wrong, right? And anytime we have that intention in a relationship, it's going to create separation because we're judging that person. So, a wonderful thing to do is to eliminate BSW. Be aware of that. And especially when you're having a difference with somebody, when you're in an argument, when there's something going on that's rough, what's your intention? Ideally, we want to learn, we want to mature to a point where our intention is always to create connection, to seek to understand the other person, and to seek to be understood. What gets in the way of that is when we want to prove to them that they're bad, or they're stupid, or they're wrong. So that's a wonderful tool, since I know that we wanted to do some tools tonight.
Thank you for that, Scott. So I want to ask the people who are at home right now, what is that's going on for you? What is something that you're struggling right now? We have two powerful coaches here for now. Like we're like fucking kick-ass coaches. And yes, I curse a little. Can you put up with that? Sorry. I'm a good girl though. But sometimes those words shake you off a little bit, don't they?
Yeah.
What the heck's going on with you now at home that you don't want to see, you don't want to talk about because it hurts, because it's upsetting you? And maybe if you open up and tell us now, what is the thing? But let's not be superficial about it. You're smart enough, you're wise enough to go deep. Are you willing to go deep tonight and tell us what's the real juice? Give us the juice because we can work with it.
So thank you. And our first one's come in. And before we respond to Anna Om, I want to say that my favorite motto, I've been using it for 10 years, is how perfectly human. So whatever it is you're dealing with, addiction, compulsion, hard relationships, hey, we've all had some form of that because all of us have had some form of an addiction or a compulsion or falling into habits that are hurtful. So, Anna Om, thank you so much. And she writes a heart. This is a tough one. My loved one is on a self-destructive path. Wow. How do we manage that? When someone we love, someone we care about, is on a self-destructive path. Kika, do you want to respond to that first?
That was kind of something I dealt with in my personal life a lot lately. To see somebody we love, like doing something that I'm asking, I'm going to say something here. The wounded feminine and the wounded masculine has four traits: the rescuer, the prosecutor, the victim, and the perpetrator, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you and I don't know the circumstances at home. And I'm going to ask you, if you look into your left, into your path of your relationships, or all relationships you ever had, what is the one feeling? I'm going to ask you a question to respond to your question. What is the one feeling you always felt? And this is for everybody to process right now a little bit. What is the one thing, one team, like if you go look back, you travel through all the relationships in your life, that is something you always felt at some point? That one thing. What is that one thing? And for me, it's very obvious. I was always the rescuer. And that's the healer, right? The wounded healer. We like to rescue people. Any other healers in the room that like to rescue people? We found the broken-hearted, the wounded, the broken, and we got to fix them. And
I
we're
was
so
born.
good.
I was born on Christmas Day. No, really, I was. So I literally grew up as a child with a Messiah complex. So I've always had to, and what Kika is saying is really true. It's like most of the people who watch this show probably are caregivers. So most of you probably fall into the rescuer category. But here's an interesting thing.
Navigate through different things at different times too.
But a reminder that there's the rescuer, there's the victim, there's the perpetrator, and often if a rescuer isn't providing the victim with what the victim wants, then the victim experiences the rescuer as the perpetrator. And so we think we're in rescuer mode, but maybe we're being so assertive or so aggressive. You need to do this, you need to do that. And the other person is experiencing us as the perpetrator. So how we see ourselves is not always how others see us.
That's very good. I love that. I love how, can I just say you are amazing, Scott? I just have to come back and I'm going to go back to the person that asked the question and see the question.
And Kika, something just changed with your audio. Your audio just changed. It got much lower. Try tapping it. Try. Your microphone's not on. We're just going into your computer. So while she does that, while she figures that out, I'll share for a little bit more.
Is it better now?
Tap on your microphone and let's see.
Is it better?
It's not on. Your microphone's not on. It was a little odd, so I don't know what happened. Anyway, I am going to continue a little bit while she figures that out. When we are dealing with somebody who's on a self-destructive path, it's important to really look at the pattern of your relationship.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Well, I can always hear you. It just got a little bit funny. So, and Kika, let me finish. Okay. Try now.
I cannot hear you.
Um, Try talking, Kika.
Yes, I am talking. Everything is on now.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Okay, good.
Great,
So
thank
I
you.
have to just say, this is Tantra Lounge. I'm your host, Divine Kika, and we are live on Jazz TV, Jazz FM, and Roku TV. So for those of you in Canada, welcome, welcome. Tantra Lounge is starting now again. And for those of you in Italy, thank you for joining us today. Our special guest is Scott Catamas. Scott Catamas is a longtime friend, a very wise teacher of compassionate communication, a master of relationships, and many other talents. Scott has been a longtime friend, and Scott is changing the world and bringing so much awareness, one show at a time, with his beautiful community. So he's here today with his community with him, and we have some people on our Zoom link, and if you see us on Facebook, you can join us in the meeting now. And if you are at home and you love what you're seeing, please share with groups of people that you love. Send it to your friends. Give other people the opportunity to see it live, because there's something else when we are live, we're sharing this energy together and we're one together. And if there's one thing that I got with working with Australia for so long and being in the United States, right, is that there is no separation. We are all one and we are together in the same time and space when we choose to connect with each other. And so tonight I invite you to open your eyes, open your awareness. There is a lot of juice coming for you, a lot of new understanding, new things that you're going to learn. Scott is amazingly wise and he has a lot of beautiful things to share with us. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you. Welcome. It's good to be here. And I do want to complete
Go
that
back to
person that we have been speaking to.
that question.
So the question that was asked was how to manage when someone's on a self-destructive path. And we've all been in that situation. And so it's important to look at what the nature of our relationship with that person is and how we want to, are we getting pulled into their drama? And like Kika was talking about a little bit earlier, are we playing the rescuer role? And are we doing that at our own expense? And so it's important to really take a step back. And of course, if we have somebody that we care about who's on a self-destructive path, we care about them and we're concerned and we want to help. And that's beautiful, but do they want our help? Is our help what we think is right for them, or is it what they genuinely want support for? And are we getting pulled down? If someone's in quicksand, it's not about jumping into the quicksand with them. If someone's drowning, you don't drown with them. You stabilize yourself and you see if they're willing to take our hand and get pulled back up. Some people really do want support. Often when someone's on a self-destructive path, they aren't asking for support. They're lost in the addiction. They're lost in the compulsion. And so in those cases, then sometimes, especially if it's impacting our life, then we have to set a boundary with compassion. We have to set a boundary with compassion.
Beautiful.
And so I'll turn it over to,
Something about that.
yeah.
Because I dealt with that and recently. I've seen somebody that I love, like making all these choices over and over again, despite of how much I wanted to help them. Right? And seeing that and really suffering, seeing that. And then I realized the more I was helping, and it's interesting. So thank you, Ron, my ex-husband, because sometimes I ask him for help and he says, no, you're capable to do it yourself.
Good for Ron.
When he does that, what does he do for me? He empowers me because he believes that I am capable of doing it. When you help somebody, especially if they don't want to be helped, sometimes you are telling them they're not able to do it themselves. And you're not allowing him the chance to break down and go down enough for them to wake up and spiral up again. Sometimes if the pain is not enough, they're not suffering enough, and we keep numbing and petting them and going back and give them a little, then we are not enabled, we are not allowing them to find their own power within themselves. Sometimes when you actually do this, then they have to find themselves, nobody else is there, then they have to go on, they have to find the strength within themselves, and sometimes it's hard to do. But that's the best gift you can give to them, because then they really will find their power in a different way. And you can't attach yourself to the results, because everyone has their different choices and their different timing. And what you might perceive as a no growth or no change or no healing, for you, it might be a big healing for them. So you have to just allow them to do it themselves, because if you do it for them, you're not really helping them. That's what I had to learn for myself recently, and that was very hard to deal with that. But I feel like I came to peace with that, because I realized this, like, this person needs to find their power on their own. And if I do that in a few years from now, I'll be proud of them, that to give them that chance rather than keep numbing their pain.
Thank you so much. That's right on. So Anna Om writes, is it not right? Is it not right to be there for them if they may be wanting to exit? Now that's a really tough one. What do you do when somebody is wanting to exit? So I'll say one thing and then turn it over to you, Kika.
Mm.
If someone's threatening suicide, obviously that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is find out, are they just in a space where they're wanting the pain to stop? And so suicide is a fantasy to stop the pain. And I always ask if they have any history, anyone that's been close to them that's committed suicide, a brother, a sister, a friend. If there's somebody who's been close to them who actually committed suicide, then it has now become an actual viable option. And so that is something to always look for. The next thing is ask them, have you thought about how you would do it? Have they taken steps? Have they written out a letter? Have they thought how they're going to do it? And again, those are things to find out, to see, are they really seeing this as an option, or is it more just they're in pain and they want the pain to stop? So those are two things to just remember, because most of us are or have encountered people that threaten suicide or talk about wanting to die. And ultimately, if they're really serious about it, then you need to really usually have deep conversation with them and help them build a stronger support system.
And that's when you call a psychiatrist, a therapist, or somebody that really can help them, because that's like too heavy for us to take on for ourselves, right?
That's right.
And
That's
you
right.
you need to get help and make sure they get the help. And that's like, I don't think we should analyze them. This is now a psychiatrist issue. This is now a doctor issue, and you need to bring them to see a doctor or to see somebody that is can do what they need, because that's too serious to take it lightly.
Yeah.
And you cannot be responsible for their actions. I've seen people that are on the other side of that when that does happen, and the imprint that can give in somebody's life, right? So you want to make sure you call a doctor, you make sure that you get that person taken care of,
Yeah.
because that's not your responsibility to fix that, but you need to make sure that your responsibility is to call a doctor and make sure that they are taken care of, because that's too serious to be taken lightly, is my answer for that.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna, I don't work with that. That's what I would say if a client come with that, because that's too serious to be taken lightly. And I've been one of those people that actually, when I was 16 years old, I almost lost my life. I was so disappointed and tired of life that I was one of those people that tried it, and thank God I survived. And I was young and stupid, and this things that happened, right? Like my life. This is 36 years ago, and I was having those thoughts. I was having those ideas, and that's what I call the night of my awakening, where those thoughts vanish from my mind and I become somebody different. But I was in a moment of pain and suffering in my life, and people go through that pain, and when they are in the pain, they need to get the help they need. I got the help I needed, and I healed and I got better. But there was a spiritual awakening that happened at 16 years old, that I become this new person, right? That I am today. I am now Divine Kika because I had that pain and I had that awakening and I had that help. And thank God. But I didn't die. I didn't do anything. That was just a thought.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't die a little, like how you say, right? Like you had to go to the hospital or anything. But that idea that you needed the help, and had, like, thank God my grandma took me to her house and took care of me and opened me up. But the spiritual awakening of that time, no one could help me. Only I could. Only I could. And if you have a partner that is having that, make sure they go to a doctor, make sure they see somebody that can help them. Don't take that on your own. It's too heavy for you. Make sure you call somebody to help them.
Let's get to the next. Thank you very much, Kika. That was really, really good. I want to get to the next question because you asked people to share.
Yeah,
And
I'm excited to see.
Robin, right? I'll read it, Kika. You don't have to read it. I'll read it. What
Okay.
if someone cuts off communication and they've said forever over a misunderstanding before you've had any chance to clarify it, and that clarity would have prevented the pain from the misunderstanding? Do you want to tackle that?
So I can take that. So if somebody's choosing to not talk to you, can you honor that? That's their request. That's the first thing. Because if you're trying to talk to somebody that doesn't want you in their lives right now, what if they don't want you in your life, the best thing you can give to them is at the moment not be in their lives. Now, this has a lot of context that I would say, let's have a session and talk deeper about it, because it's too little of information to say do this, right? But the first thing is, well, you have to justify yourself. You have to justify what happened. Or you can say you are an adult and you can make an understanding yourself. And I'm going to take this time to work on myself and see what I need, what I'm feeling, what I'm processing here, and what I want to do going forward. It's an opportunity for you to reevaluate what you want for yourself. It's always come back to you. And then again, are you going out of yourself to go to explain and get validation out of a justification, or you do your work first, you understand what happened to you, you understand what you're feeling, what are you needing, what do you want to go next, what do you really want, who you really are now, who you want to become, digest your past, heal your shit. Then you go, okay, well, they didn't understand me and they chose to be out of my life, and that's what I need to honor right now. And can you live with that? When you are at peace with yourself, you can. Right now, what's killing you, what's like hurting, right? Like that thing that is hurting is the doubt. I don't know if I did right. I don't know if I did something wrong. I can't explain myself. I can't, what they're judging me. Well, wait, what do you know about yourself that is true? What do you know about yourself that's true? First, come with that clarity. What do you know that is true for you? Really, not your feeling, not the heat of emotion. What is really going on for you? Then write about it. And then think about, what is the outcome that I want from the situation? People just get immersed in situations and they don't think about what is the outcome. So what is the outcome you want for this? You want to look good? Why do you want to look good? Because you always wanted to look good, because you had people judging you in the past and you need to look good. What is the outcome you want? So do that inventory first. And then if you can, write a letter. Once you are clear, I'm imagining right now there is a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. And I invite you to just sit with that for a little bit. Understand, digest, let it pass through all the way. Digest means like it's gonna enter here somewhere, it's gonna go through, gonna do the work until you get it out and you figure it out what it is. You go, Don't want to see that. Ugh. And then you're going to see, oh, but it feels good. It nourished me. It did this, it did that. Until you figure it out and digest all these emotions and see the outcome, then look, what is the outcome you want? And you have clear direction. Then you maybe send a letter, or maybe you just explain something. But after you do all of that, what do you think, Scott?
Oh, well, first of all, everything you said is right on. It's always important to bring it back to ourself. And so when we do have a situation that's unresolved, and especially if the person has said that they don't want to have contact, then we're kind of in a situation where the mind keeps wondering, like Kika said. So, wonderful thing to do is to come up with a simple affirmation and notice every time your monkey mind goes into thinking about that person, you notice it, exhale, and as you breathe in, run an affirmation. I am whole and complete unto myself. I'm bringing my
Mm.
attention to myself now. I am fulfilled in my life. Whatever, find an affirmation that really feels good to you and bring that into your being and start changing the grooves in the brain, because what happens is we start to obsess. And anytime we are repeating the same thought over and over, we're obsessing. And every time we obsess, we build a little groove in the brain, which makes it deeper and deeper and easier to go into that obsessive thought. So by noticing the obsessive thoughts, exhaling it out, replacing it with an affirmation, it gives the mind something to do, and it's the way to change that obsessive thinking. And I see Kika jumping up and down. So
I'm just moving energy because I feel like I'm very empathic and I'm feeling people having a lot of energy moving. So I'm just moving a lot of stuff. Sometimes stuff moves through me as people heal, and that's okay.
yeah,
That's
it's
okay.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank
Yeah, and that's okay. Because like when this is one of those things that when we are tantric, we're a little more visceral and we kind of move stuff through the body. Sometimes you just go like this and then stuff moves. And then you don't need to think or give words to it. You just allow it to shake off.
you. Yeah.
That's like, sometimes that's what you need to do. Whatever it is that your body, but get used to allow yourself to not have emotion trapped into your body, because we always store stuff. And if you can catch it and actually allow it to faster, better for you. You don't
Yeah,
store it in
no,
your body, you don't get a cancer, you don't get a sickness, right?
yeah, no, that's really important. Because what they've discovered is that trauma is stored in the cells, and we can only remove trauma through sound and movement. Talk therapy is not enough. It's sound and movement, like she's saying, shaking and shivering, dancing and quivering to move that energy out of our body. So thank you for demonstrating that for us, Kika.
Yeah. And whatever you're going through, it always comes back to how well you're loving yourself, how are you allowing yourself to have clarity, right, Scott? And,
Yeah.
and what are the right questions you're asking yourself, and how are you moving forward? And doubt is what kills you. So when you push something aside and you don't deal with what's in front of you, is also a problem, right? So if it's something big, you need to write down everything, pour your brain out, pour it all out in the paper, and let yourself like just digest it a little bit, and shake and dance or whatever. But then like when you think it about again about it, like now it's like it's lighter because you let this emotion, the heaviness of it come out. So now you have a little more clarity. So going back to what you're grateful for is so simple. It's like, oh my gosh, everybody say you're grateful, grateful. But going back to what am I grateful for in my life right now? What am I grateful? What's working for me right now? Who I really am right now? What's going on in my life right now? And have clarity. Clarity. And always ask yourself, I think in the spiritual community, sometimes people say, oh, let's just hang out, let's have a meeting. And I always ask, like, what is the outcome you want from this meeting? And people get surprised, like, what do you mean outcome? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to just relax a little bit? What is the outcome? Because people don't think that, like, what's the outcome you want of this situation? Write about it. Because people get in the drama, in the story, and forget about the story, what is the outcome you want? So on that note, Scott, our guest for tonight, I know you're a master of compassionate communication and you have helped hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of people at this point. And you are an incredible teacher, healer, and thank you for so much honor for you and all that you taught me. And rest assured, with tears in my eyes, all the things you taught me, I pass it forward. Thank you.
I love you.
Changed my life.
I love you very much.
So what is the number one thing that people need to understand to communicate with more clarity, with themselves, with the conversations they have with themselves? What's the number one thing they need to do to start to really understand who they really are and what they need and what they want and how to go forward?
Well, you talked about compassion and empathy. And the most important form of empathy is self-empathy, right? We can't give to another if we're empty. You can't go very far with an empty gas tank. So learning to give our self-empathy when we're hurting, and especially even in relationship, we get hurt. No matter how wonderful a relationship is, there's going to be moments where we get hurt. And when I say relationship, it might be with your family, it might be with your friends, it might be any number of different possibilities, different types of relationship. So learning to give yourself empathy, to love yourself, to give yourself maybe an emergency dose of self-empathy so that you can have something to give to another person. So that's, I think, the first step. Ultimately, we have to learn to love ourselves. I've done a lot of television shows and documentaries, and now recently with my online shows on people who have had near-death experiences. And everyone, when they're out there, remember that the meaning of life is we're here to learn to love, starting with ourselves. I'm going to say it again. We're here to learn to love, starting with ourselves. And self-love is not selfish. When we genuinely love ourselves, we're not selfish. When we genuinely love ourselves, we want to love others. It's human nature. When you've got good self-esteem, you want to contribute to the well-being of others. People that are selfish are people that don't love themselves, and they're trying to fill this gaping hole inside of themselves with, material objects or narcissistic connection. But when you have a healthy self-esteem, you want to contribute to the well-being of others. So that's the first thing that I'll share. And what do you want to say about that, Kika?
I'm discombobulated because I was worried about charging my phone.
I saw you, doing things that
I was trying to I did the little things that I had to do. So
Do you need more time to do things, or are you good?
I am good now. I'm good now. I want to ask you though, in relationship, when people are in relationship and they want to communicate to their partner better and they don't know how to start, right? Perhaps they're having this pattern. And this is something that I've been doing interventions now, like after I learned NLP. I ask people to call me when they're fighting. It's kind of funny. I get to be in the middle. Hey, you're fighting. Yay, call me when you're fighting so we can work on the pattern and repattern your brain, because the intervention happens there, right? But so I use different tools. I want to learn, I want to know your tools. Like if people are at home and they notice they have this pattern of fighting and they fight a certain way, or there's always this little couples, especially if they're not making love anymore. It's not that they're not making love. They're not making love is not the problem. There's something else that caused they're not making love.
That's right.
Yeah. That is something else that caused that to not happen. Because couples that are happy, they are celebrating and making love, right? So if you're home and you're in this relationship that you are kind of like frustrated, or you saw yourself there and you want to learn how to be better in the future, perhaps you're single and you want to learn how to practice a healthier communication, a healthier relationship, this is the time now. You can practice with us. Scott will show you how, when things get sour, how to remediate, how to come back to harmony. So what is the first step when you see, it's like every day there is this little argument? What is the first step that people need to do? or take that?
So the first step is for a couple to make an agreement that when we have a difference, we're not going to talk about it until we're both centered and we both genuinely care about what the other one has to say. And that's like a commitment, it's like a marriage vow, a relationship vow to because people fight when they're not centered. When we're centered, if both people are centered, they're not going to fight. It's when we're off center and we're desperate to be heard, we're desperate to defend ourselves that we go into that. So, bottom line, make the commitment we only talk about the hard stuff when we're both centered. That's like a bottom line, devoted, disciplined commitment to make, ideally.
But then, but I have a question within the question. But then there is the person that says, I'm gonna abuse you by ignoring you and I'm leaving. Bye. Bitch. Gone, and then you are there. Right?
Yeah.
That's also a punishment.
So,
So if we say only talk when you're tired, then I'm sure you have more to say about that.
I do about that because it's pretty common. Most of the time, there's the person in the couple that when it gets hard is like, I need space, I need space. And there's the other person who says, no, I can't be happy until we solve this, right? And what's interesting is that both people actually want the same thing. They want harmony, they want clarity, and they want to feel safe. One person's strategy for safety is to create space and to take a break. Another person's strategy for safety is to work it out. Let's work it out. And so there are two different strategies to get to the same place. So, absolutely, I teach something, and Kika knows this, called connected timeouts. Taking a connected timeout. And I have a whole long thing. I'm going to do the short version. There's yellow light and there's red light. The moment you notice the very first agitation, the very first moment that there's a little fear, or a little contraction, or a little bit of something coming into the field, hey, yellow light, let's slow down. Yellow light, let's connect. Say yellow light, and then either let's slow down, or let's connect, or let's just hold each other. If at all possible, just holding each other, or taking hands and breathing together is a really wonderful way to calm the nervous system. We want to calm our nervous system. Most people, if they really practice yellow lights and slowing down, they'll never get to red light. Red light is when we have to take space. We're no longer capable of demonstrating the love or the care that we want to because we're too angry, we're too scared, we're too frustrated, we're too triggered, and we need space. And when that happens, and that's what Kika was referencing, the person who says, I'm out of here, and the other one is like, but wait. Well, there's a way to handle that. The person who wants space gives reassurance. I need space so I can get centered, so I can come back to this conversation and show you the love and the care that I want to show you. So the person asking for space, it's up to them to provide reassurance. I do want to come back and I will come back once I'm
Right.
centered. And to offer when that would be, to give it a range of time. Give a range of time. I'm
This is
bringing it back.
great. This is great. And it did change my life when I learned that. That was a big, big step. Actually, a lot of things. I felt like learning compassionate communication was like learning French. I'm still learning French, but it's just like I remember telling Scott, this is too complicated. It takes too long. It's like it's too hard. And then Scott taught me that actually it's a slowing down, and then that I create more connection. And I use this. I use this with my kids, with my clients, with my friends, with everyone, and it works. It sounds a little bit hard. It sounds like more work. But I tell you, if you actually pay attention to these jewels that Scott is giving you, it can really change the tone of all your relationships. It's really magical. And okay, so now that what is something? So let's change a little bit. Like I want to make it a little more exciting now because you're getting too serious here, and I think people need to shake. So it's like if you're at home, just shake it up a little bit. What is the most weird thing that you ever heard in your practice when coaching people? You don't have to say who it was, but like the most funny or the most exotic thing or something that blew your mind and you go, oh my God, what happened here?
Wow. Um, are we allowed to be kinky on this show?
Oh yeah, this is Tantra Lounge. This is where we talk. I got proposed by a gay couple last week. I matched with somebody with Tinder, and then there was this really cute guy, and then he says, "I have a boyfriend. We want you to be our girlfriend." And I was like, "Oh wow, that's the best. That's the most fun swap." I was like, "I don't know what to do about it." So that was my exotic of the week.
Well,
I still don't know what to do about it.
they want you to be their unicorn, if you know that term. So, well, a lot of people come to me with, what happens when one person has a sexual fantasy that the other one finds repulsive or doesn't want to do. And so that comes up a lot.
Okay.
And so let's go with that. First
So
off,
what happened? What was the kinky thing that the person wanted? Tell us. Come on.
do you know what a golden shower is?
Oh yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay.
He wanted to give and receive a golden shower. And he thought that for him, that was an act of intimacy, an act of only us, a way of feeling really special. Because they've had lots of sex with other people, but this was his strategy for having a unique experience with his beloved. Okay?
And
And of
everybody
course,
has different things. We all have something maybe a little weird.
yeah, and what is weird? Weird is just different than our perception of reality, right? I mean, what's weird to some people is everyday for another. We all have different cultural things. So, what I always emphasize is let's get out of any judgment, not even calling it weird, right? Because that can be heard as a judgment. But,
But
oh
yeah.
wow, right? Like, I mean, obviously, a golden shower to many people is weird because it's different. But
So what
underneath,
happened? What
well,
happened?
I tried to help her to understand the beauty of what he really wanted, which was to have a unique, intimate experience with her, right? It wasn't just about getting peed on or peeing on her. It was about wanting a unique experience that she had never had with anybody else, right? And so, in a sense, almost like a new virginity, right? Was what he said.
You know, it could be worse. I remember a date that went south and then the guy peed on my leg and I was really upset about it. Never saw him again.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I could have asked first. That was not okay.
He just out of the blue did that.
In the shower, yeah. That
Oh,
was
in the
weird.
shower. In the
That
shower.
was
Yes.
weird, Scott. I never forget. That was maybe like 15 years ago. I will never
Yeah,
forget
that
that.
can be pretty traumatic. That can be pretty traumatic.
It's like, yeah, my
And
fantasy. I'm like,
and
well,
by
I
the
thought
way,
you asked first. Like, that was
you
really
asked the question, so I'm not a proponent of golden showers, but as a coach, my job is never to judge my client. Never, never, never,
right.
never,
Of course not. We are there
never.
to. No, we can't.
And most of the time, when there is something weird, um, the spouse or the girlfriend or the boyfriend thinks it's weird, and there's a judgmental nature. So my job is to help them to go underneath the judgment, no bad, no stupid, no wrong, and understand what is the value, what is the longing that's underneath that idea.
So what
So
happened to them? Did she allow it?
no,
Everybody wants to know. No. Did
no.
they stay together?
No, I mean, they're still together as far as I know. I haven't, this is a couple that I saw a while back. So, as best as I know, they're still together. And who knows, maybe she finally accepted it. Um, but they did work on other forms of creative intimacy. They worked on finding other things to do together that uh, she had never done before, which got into particular styles of lovemaking.
That's exciting. So thank you for that story. I think we needed a little laugh with something fun. So this is Tantra Lounge. For those of you that just got on the radio or TV now, this is Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio, Sex Talk TV. This is where you create a love life you love. We are live on Jazz TV, Jazz FM. and Roku TV in Italy and Canada. And for those of you on Facebook or other platforms, please share in groups, share with the people you love. And if you want to enter, I post on Instagram, I post on Facebook the link to get to this meeting tonight. If you have a burning question about your sexuality, about your relationship, something that is going on for you, ask us anything. Like right now, you know that we have seen it all at this point, right? With me, Scott, like over 15 years doing this. We sometimes I go, okay, like that was something that every now and then I go, okay, I heard it all, but then I go, oh, okay, now I did heard it all. We heard a lot. We've been through a lot, and we can help you, whatever it is. Don't be ashamed of asking the question. You can just post the question there or text us the question in the chat room, and then we will respond to you. Is there any question that we didn't ask you?
There's a question that came in, but it is a little bit more. It's a little more serious, Kika. So
okay,
I
so
just want
let's
to
get
make
to
it safe.
the stuff.
And the question is, if all you've experienced since childhood is abuse and trauma, it's not easy to love yourself. And
Yes.
so let's just take a breath. So thank you. That's a really courageous thing to put into the chat box. And yes, we want to make it fun, but we also want to take a moment to really breathe into that. That one's a hard one. If you've experienced
In the
since
fact of
childhood trauma and abuse, it's hard to love yourself.
and who in the path of an intimacy and love and relationship has not been hurt and scarred or have had not a traumatic experience, right? I'll let you get that one and then I'll share a little story.
Okay. So I guess what I'll start with is that it's important for us to find the balance of acknowledging the pain of our past and recognizing when we have what I call veils of past pain that are coming down to protect us. Because when we have been abused or traumatized, our reptile brain wants to protect us. And so when we think we're entering a situation similar to when we were abused, the cackles go up. And that can be a good thing to make sure we don't repeat abusive patterns. But it's also important to differentiate between our past and our present and our future. And because we've been hurt in the past, it doesn't automatically mean we're going to get hurt in present or future time. Really important. And to, again, work with a coach, work with a therapist, work with somebody on healing your past, learning how to honor and manage the wounds from the past, but not carrying the belief system into present time or future imagining that it's going to continue. And I'll say one last thing about it and then turn over to Kika. Oftentimes, if we had parents that were abusive or parents that didn't love us the way that every little child should be loved, we might form the belief system that that's the way the world is. That's just the way men are. That's just the way the world is. Or that's how the world treats me. And those belief systems can get ingrained as children, and then we're carrying it into adulthood. And that's where you really need to work with a good coach or a good therapist to help you go back and take a look at what beliefs you're carrying based on your pain so you can clear them. So I'll start there, and I'm going to turn over to my partner, Kika.
Hello, Scott. So, hi. Is this a sister or brother that's going?
It's a sister.
It's a sister. So, sister, I've been there. I was molested as a child. I was abused. My mom was bipolar. I was molested by a family member, like two family members. I had abusive relationships at some point in my life. Not until I went to a Tantra workshop and I started to understand that I was with a mindset of abuse, and abuse was all I knew. And not until a man held my heart and say, I'm going to heal your heart for all the times you felt not loved, not precious, not enough, and that you had been through. And I remember crying, and I remember that that man's eyes until today. I remember, bless his heart, because he opened me to understand that was my perception. that they didn't need to be like that going forward. And that was huge for me. But even though I had that healing, it was a process. It was a process that, and I will tell you what, it's a process that is still unfolding. But today, the perception I have about the relationship and the manifestation that I have in my life after all the work I've done, and I done a lot, oh my God, years and years and years of different stuff, because I have this huge bag of tools to help people, but I help myself every time I got trained, right? And even though sometimes I have to tell myself, I am safe, I am okay. Because the trauma leaves, the trauma heals, but you need to learn how to do the trauma differently. You need to work with your brain a different way. So what Scott said about getting a therapist, getting somebody to support you, to have that breakthrough, to move to the other side, and then learning what to tell yourself, I used to be claustrophobic. So when I enter our elevator, I have some rituals. And because I've done those rituals so many times, now it doesn't bother me anymore. I go and but if I am hungry, tired, and lonely in a long trip and I have to go to the bathroom, I have to say some things to myself. And then, so you can heal, you can overcome this. You are not going to be like this forever if you choose to make a change. If you decide that you want a different path. And I'm going to tell you what, and I know a lot of sisters feel that way. We all have been through some stuff in relationship, brothers too. But you can say, no more. I want a different life now. And what I want to say is that today, even though sometimes relationships begin and end, the reflection of the masculine into my life is a beautiful, healthy, masculine energy that comes as a support and as a friend and as a loving hand, helping me, holding me to my higher possibility. And that's what I experienced after I did this work. So for all of my sisters that feel that have been hurt or have been in the path of pain for too long, that is a way out. That is a possibility. You can heal. And the other side of this doesn't mean that life will be perfect. You're still going to feel pain, but it will be different because now you have the tools on how to deal with it, and you will manifest people more in your vibration, right? You will be able to see what is not love, what is abuse, and understand that. So I invite you to work with a coach that have been through the experience that can guide you to the other side. Me and Scott are here available for you every step of the way. Yeah, Scott. So we have 20 minutes left, and we talked about. I want to get to the juice of you, but I'm really excited because guys, I'm going to Brazil next week, and I have this retreat. And it's a week-long retreat. And this is the first retreat I'm doing in a long time. And you are invited to join me in Paradise. And Scott's going to play a little video for you. Is that a good time to play now, Scott?
Yep, I've got it all ready to go.
This powerful healing and this powerful time, this is the time for you to go and actually escape. So I let you watch it.
Hello, my name is Divine Kika, and I invite you to escape and go to Paradise with me to learn Tantra, to recharge, regenerate, heal, and open your heart and soul to a new phase of your life.
Look at me and Scott.
We will dive in learning and healing your heart, about your needs and desires. You will learn how to become a better lover, a better person, and feel good about yourself. As well as we are going to excursions and sacred, beautiful places in Paradise with amazing nightlife if you choose to, but also like amazing breathtaking trails and beach journeys. We will rent a yacht for a day and go to beautiful islands. It will be an adventure like you've never been before. Are you ready to give yourself the time to regenerate, recharge, and heal so you can come back fulfilled, happy? Actually activate your imagination to what is next in your life. Come back to actually have real dreams and visions to where you really want to be in this life. What if you take 10 days, 7 days to regenerate, recharge, reconnect to yourself, realign? And this will leave an imprint in your soul and your life forever. I believe that this will be the best days of your life. I can't wait to meet you in paradise. I have been teaching and living a tantric life for the last 15 years. I have guided more than 500 people personally to have a better life. I have had thousands of people in my retreats, seminars, and events all over the world. And this is your time to experience this fulfillment that your heart so longed for. I know in the path of love and relationships, there is a lot of patterns, things that keep repeating in your life, and this is the time to end this repeating and actually creating a love life you love. Join me now. I see you soon. If you want to learn about this trip a little more and need more information, feel free to call me and contact me. We'll talk, and I will make sure that this trip feels good for you and you have a safe and loving, happy trip.
Thank you, Scott, for playing that. Awesome.
Yeah, my God, it looks really, really fun. Really, really.
It is a
Next time I'm going to go with you.
Yes, we got to do one there together. So
I would like
March 14th to 21st, you can join me. I still have 5 spots left. So contact me. Let me know if you want to go. We still can make it happen. Okay, now back to Scott. Scott Catamas, our love coach. Scott has created this beautiful academy where he also trains coaches right now.
Right.
And it's incredible. The work, like it keep reverberating now that we're getting more and more people to learn. So if you want to be a love coach, do you want to tell us a little bit about your academy and the miracles it has been creating? It's so beautiful, the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's called Love Coach Academy. You can go to lovecoachacademy.com and learn all about it. And really, we have a wonderful group of people, all ages, all cultures, and we share and exchange wisdom, knowledge. How do you handle this? How do you handle that kind of client? And I train people in the tools that I've learned, which are emotional intelligence skill building, nonviolent communication, also known as compassionate communication, and neurolinguistic programming. So I kind of combine those, the best of those tools, into my training, into my courses. And I'll be starting another course in April. So you can just go to Love Coach Academy and learn all about that. And on a miracle level, Kika, you know, the greatest miracle is learning to love ourselves. And then the more we learn to love ourselves, then we can really love others. And really, almost everything that we teach through Love Coach Academy, through Kika and Divine Kika and Tantra Lounge are ways to authentically love ourselves more fully. To accept ourselves, we all want to be accepted. We all want to be cared for. We all want to be well loved. And so the tools are how to do that, and also how to move from reptile brain reaction into frontal lobe responsiveness. And that's a lot of what we teach.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that? That's such a beautiful teaching of yours. I love when you explain that. Like, how do we move from crazy mode? Like, how do we go from crazy to actually clear and speaking from this calm? All my relationships, they say it's more of a trap if I get really calm and centered, then it's like it's easier. If I'm calm and centered, then it's just like serious.
Yeah. Well, you know, let me start by telling a beautiful story. It's a short story. And it's about the Dalai Lama. And Kika, the Dalai Lama, allowed brain researchers to hook up electrodes to his brain, and they tracked how his synapses work. And at all times, during this 90 minutes of research, his synapses were entirely firing in his frontal lobe and his temporal lobe. That's where the empathy center of the brain is and the observer part of the brain is. Never in the back part of the brain, which is where the reptile brain is. Even at the end of the research, Kika, they showed him pictures of Chinese soldiers burning down a Tibetan temple. And as he looked at the pictures, he wept. He wasn't stuffing his emotions, he wept. But his synapses were still firing up here. Finally, at the very end, the lead researcher said, I want to know, what are you really thinking? What are you really feeling when you think about Chinese soldiers raping Tibetan women or even murdering Tibetan people? What goes on for you? The Dalai Lama got very quiet. He wept, but the synapses continued to fire here. And he said, it reminds me that I must pray equally for the Chinese as I do for my Tibetan people. Now, that story is the answer to your question. It's the movement of the human species is we're moving from survival to thriving, from reaction to responsiveness. And we do that by learning to slow down, feel our feelings, feel our emotions, give ourselves that empathy, and then think about the other person. You know, that doesn't mean we condone violence. It doesn't mean we condone hurtful behavior. But we pull back enough, and from the observer and empathy part of the brain, look at the big picture. And so that's where we're moving as a species. Now, it's much easier said than done, but it starts by slowing down, controlling ourselves, not jumping right into reaction, but slowing down and, like Kika said, bringing it back to ourselves. What's going on with me? What am I telling myself? What am I feeling? What am I needing? The majority of the time we fight with someone, it's because we are interpreting what they have said or done or not said or done as an attack. We're interpreting it as she doesn't love me, he doesn't care about me, or she's judging me, or he's criticizing me. That's how we interpret it. And then our reptile brain takes over, we go into defending ourselves, and the next thing you know, you got two people that are in reaction.
I'm just feeling so much gratitude for you, because these very teachings were such a gift in my life. And I experienced the gifts you're talking about to be able to do these things to you. Because I don't know, it was 15 years ago when we were teaching together around North California. And then those teachings really, so I invite you to learn compassionate communication with Scott. Is master communicator, and it changes your life in a beautiful way. Now, Scott, I love when you talk about the feelings and needs. We have a few minutes. I would love for you to talk to people about the list of feelings and needs, and give that. There's a story that you tell that is so precious, and I think I really invite you to just really listen up to this one. Like, how do we identify our needs, our feelings, and why we have to do that? I love that teaching so much. I just love how you teach that. It's such a beautiful teaching.
Oh, well, thank you. I want to just check in for a minute because Terry writes that the audio has a loud white noise under it. So, Jess or anybody in our chat box, let us know if that's.
He's saying that is a great video. He's loving it.
Okay, good.
Oh, good. I'm
So,
gonna ask him now because
Terry said it's tough.
everything is good. It's back. Everything is good. Yeah.
Right.
I have him on a chat here. If there's a problem, I'm watching.
Thank you, Jess.
We got this. We got this. So, Scott, tell us about the needs and the feelings, and how do we learn to see our feelings and needs, and how can that better our lives? And if you are at home now, really open your heart. This is something that if you actually get this can change the tone of all your relationships forever.
All right. So there are
No
our
pressure.
thoughts, there are our thoughts, there are our feelings, and there are what we need, what we long for, what we value. When we get into trouble in a relationship, it's because we are focusing too much on our thoughts. We're letting our mind run. It's what I was saying before with interpretations and reactive thinking. All right. So, what we want to do is we want to learn how to differentiate between our thoughts, which are highly suspect. Our thoughts are filled with projection, inaccurate assumptions. Our thoughts are usually not the full picture, and they're almost rarely the truth. What's always true is what we're feeling in the moment and what we need, what we long for. So let's say that Kika and I have a date to connect, and she's 30 minutes late. And my mind starts going into she doesn't care about me, she doesn't respect me. Those are all thoughts that may or may not be true. What is true is I'm feeling concerned, I'm feeling confused. Where's Kika? And I'm needing reassurance that everything's okay, and I'm needing connection. Now that's what's real. Not that she doesn't respect me, not that she doesn't love me, not that she doesn't care me. That's all. No, but I am concerned. I'm wondering. I'm curious, and I'm longing for those things. So, learning how to not stay stuck in our judgments, our projections, but to drop into what am I really feeling? I'm scared. I'm concerned. I'm nervous. I'm confused. That's vulnerable. Notice how vulnerable all those feelings are. And if we can claim the vulnerability of that. So when Kika does show up, it's the difference between, well, obviously you don't care about me because you're 30 minutes late. That's not going to create connection. But I go, wow, I'm really glad to see you. And honestly, I got really scared and I'm just confused because I thought we were meeting at 8 o'clock and now it's 8:30. And I'm wanting to know, is everything okay? Do you really care about me? What happened? I'm like curious as opposed to projecting judgment on her. I'm curious and I'm vulnerably sharing with her what went on for me. And that's where she goes, oh, baby, I just got lost in traffic. I'm so sorry. I do care about you. I do love you. Don't worry about it. Right? But if I come at her with a lot of judgment, she's going to go into defending herself, and I'm not going to get the care and the understanding that I'm seeking in the first place. So there's an example. And Divine Kika, how's that land for you?
That's it. That's what I want people to get, that understanding, like that you need to understand first what you're feeling, like you're teaching, and then like what are you needing, and then how can you make a clear request, right? Like that, this is so fundamental. And that those lists that we used to share in our workshops would be so nice to share.
Here's here's one of them. So
Yeah,
here's
this is
the
so
li-
beautiful. If you can download this, they can download this in your website, Scott.
yeah. If people go to Love Coach Academy, um, and
See the list. Let people see the list. It was really good that people see it.
okay, so I'll bring it back up. If you go to Love Coach Academy and just click about, it'll say LCA Docs. Love Coach Academy, LCA Docs. And we've got 40 different documents there. And this is called the List of Universal Human Needs. And I'll just read some of the basic categories: security, freedom, relaxation, connection, affection, understanding, community. These are some of the categories of universal human needs. And here's the thing: everything you will ever do in your life is an attempt to get one or more of these needs met. So the way that we can understand ourselves or understand another is not by asking prosecutorial questions, but asking, what are you needing right now? What am I needing right now? Going back to Kika being late example, maybe Kika's needing to know that I still love her and I'm not going to judge her. Maybe she's needing safety, and maybe I'm needing reassurance. Right?
I was on time, by the way.
This was just
I
she
think
was
it's
on time.
justified. Just kidding.
This is just a fantasy
I don't
Example.
know.
Yeah.
So this list, like Scott used to share, we shared in our little workshops that we used to do before. I still share this with my students. I think it's fundamental that you understand the list of feelings and needs, and go to Scott website and download those. It's such a fundamental change in your life. I love that Scott brought that, and that we can learn how to, what are we feeling, what are we needing. It's something that I still teach that, thanks to you. See, you changed me. And that is important for us. And so if you're at home, download that. What is your website, Scott, again?
Lovecoachacademy.com. Love.
Lovecoachacademy.com. Very easy. Go and download those. Now, Scott, is that a message that you want to give? Because I know a lot of people are feeling lonely. They might be in a relationship and feeling lonely, or they feel like they're not finding the relationship they need, right? Like, and a lot of people are feeling pain and disconnect and the uncertainty. This is times of uncertainty. And we need to feel certainty, we need to feel uncertainty, we need to feel important, we need to feel loved, and we need to feel all these things, right? And we need to have this sense of actually contribution. All of those are important needs, but these times of uncertainty has gone so long that our need for security, safety, and knowing the future has become really strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this very important thing. So what is a message that you would like to give to the people that are at home, and they I don't like to say hopeless, but I think some people are feeling that way, or people that are, because and then again, like, we navigate through these things. You might feel a little bit hopeless now, and you might feel excited later.
Yeah.
Just like, what is the message that you would like to give to them tonight, for them, something that you want to give? You're such a, and then thank you for your glorious, loving presence and the beautiful work you do, and for healing so many hearts, and continuing this, and being there for all of us. I'm thank you, and I miss you so
Thank
much.
you. I love you, Kika. I love you. It's good to connect with you again. So two things. One is gratitude. You know, we can always be grateful for something. Grateful for our dog, our cat, nature. Grateful for whatever health, good health we have. Most of us have some health challenges, but there's other parts of our life where we are healthy. So being grateful is really, really good. Being of service to others. When being of service to others is so important, even if it's being of service to your dog or your cat or your neighbor or a family member, you know, reach out, call someone, find ways to be of service. And then the last thing is develop a practice, whatever that practice may be, but a practice that helps you to feel more connected to that which is greater than yourself. It could be connection to music, playing a musical instrument. It could be doing martial arts, doing yoga, doing meditation, doing dance, doing prayer, being of service. But cultivate a practice that helps you to consistently experience that which is greater than your own little world, your own little reality. And I want to say one thing before we go. I want people to know what something that Kika offers. If you're, especially if you're a man and you're feeling vulnerable or insecure about yourself, about your sexuality, Kika is amazing because she's so loving and so nurturing. She's wise. She's a tantric master. So she's got all the wisdom and knowledge about Tantra, about neuro-linguistic programming, but she supports her clients with so much love and so much nurturing. So I just want to really encourage people, men and women, but men might be shy. So I want to let men know she's safe, guys. She's a really safe and wonderful coach to work with. So I want to make sure people know that about
Thank
you.
you. That's so beautiful. For men that are out there right now, like, you remind me, like, that there is a lot of people maybe watching a little bit too much pornography, and it's starting to feel uncomfortable, or you're feeling lonely, or you feel like inadequate and bad, too clumsy, too old, too little, like the kids are up all the time, there is no time, it's too late in my life, right? I help you. This is my specialty. I help you to find your sexual self, your power in that, to become the lover who is always satisfied and who always satisfies, and to learn every step of the way. And I invite you to go to my website, divinekika.com, and download today a free copy of a little book for men. It's divinekika.com, and then you're gonna see a video, and below the video there is a start now. And for women, I have this 10 tantric sex secrets for greater sex, love, and intimacy tonight. And that's like a beginner's journey. And in that, you will get a video, or you can download the book, and you're going to learn so much. And if you feel like you need a hand to support you every step out of the way, oh, we're on my website.
Yay!
Scroll down a little bit. Hello. So, right here where it says download now, men, start here, right there. Download your free copy of it says ejaculation control, but you're gonna learn the 10 stages of orgasmic power, the arousal, like from not aroused all the way to climax, right? So you're gonna learn those stages. You're gonna learn how to master that, to choose when and if you want to. But this is a process that brings you confidence and power in every level of your life. And for women, learn the 10 secrets to become the tantric lover who always satisfies, and actually to combine that with knowing how to communicate in a way that you feel seen, heard, and understood, and to love and have compassion for yourself, and to understand your feelings and needs. So my wish for you, if you're at home right now, I invite you to put a hand into your heart and just smile to your beautiful heart, and look to the left and to your generational line, to your ancestral line, through your past lives, and say, thank you for all the lessons. Thank you for all that I've learned. I choose now a beautiful, bright, light, new future for me. And I thank you for the wisdom. And now I choose to create a new life for me. And that choice right there. And it comes now with that smile in your heart. And remember that in this moment, right now, everything is okay. In this moment, everything's perfect for you. And smile into your heart, into this, your capacity to go through that beautiful journey that you went, and through this beautiful journey that is coming up for you. And trusting that is something beyond us, that is something above us, that is watching us all, and that is showering us with love. Are you allowing yourself to receive the love that is being mailing? Send it. There is love sent to you every day by people, ideas, things. That the love comes to you every day. Are you allowing yourself to drink, eat, receive, really have this love that comes to you every day? Sometimes just look at the sky, look at the stars, look at the moon, and just feel it. So I'm loving you right now. I'm loving Scott. Scott, I think this is the first of many things we're going to do together again.
I would love that. I would love that.
I'm really happy we're connecting again. And thank you for being such a beautiful gift in our lives. And I invite you, is there anything else you would like to say? Because I know the gift that you are and the blessing that you are for us. And if there's anything else you would like to add?
Well, I certainly want to encourage people always, if you aren't already, come to the Awakening World every weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. Every weekend, I host the Awakening World with amazing guests. Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith, Greg Braden, and 100 other amazing luminaries. And people like Kika. So come and join us. Every weekend, it's really powerful. This upcoming weekend, it's going to be all about modern day mystics. You're a mystic, modern day mystic. So come and join us every Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday.
So what is the website for that? How can we do that?
globalpeacetribe.com.
Amazing.
globalpeacetribe.com. So come register. And I definitely want to do more with you, Kika. Let's start teaching together again and doing more work together. It's a lot of fun. I just love you so much. Great energy. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for riding this journey with us, staying with us. This is Tantra Lounge, sex talk, relationship talk, Jazz TV, Jazz FM, and Robo TV. Thank you for everyone that ride is streaming next week, every Thursday, 8 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Canada time, Mountain Time. And we see you next week. Every week, a new surprise, a new show. And I can't wait to celebrate your new life with you. And if you do want to come to Brazil, there is a contact form. You go to my website, just fill up that contact form. I'll contact you. I have 5 places left. And I can't wait to see you in Paradise. And I can't wait to see you in Tantra Lounge next week. And I will be watching the, how do you call it? The Awakening World.
The Awakening World.
And the website again, can you say it again?
globalpeacetribe.com. globalpeacetribe.com.
This is Tantra Lounge. Create a love life you love. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.